Hey everybody, what's going down? It's your girl J Renee. You know, I always got something to say in you all today. Oh my goodness, we are touching on an important message, an important cause, and it is about 4 letters dealing with different schools for minorities, HBCU. And today I have the one and only, the VP of the Houston HBCU Alumni Association, Mr. Bishop Richard HARPER.
Woo, thank you so much for having me. Actually, I'm president now. When you and I met, I was vice president, but I've been elected as president of the Houston HBCU Alumni Association. So I guess we moved up in the world.
I am so excited. Tell me, what was that like to be in that chain of command and to actually be super hands-on with something that is needed for all generations, not just the younger generation?
Well, and then let me first say thank you for having me on. So I represent the Houston HBCU Alumni Association. For those of you who don't know who we are just yet, we are a collaboration of historically Black college and university alumnus from across the city of Houston, and we come together, we raise scholarship dollars, we bring awareness to HBCUs. We host actually the largest HBCU college fair in the nation, and we have a mentoring program that's active in a high school right now, and just a ton of things. For me, I serve the organization. I've been a part of the organization for 5 years, and 4 of those years I served 2 terms as vice president. So it was an exciting time for me. What made it really special for me is I graduated from one of the back then unknown HBCUs, but we're like coming up now, becoming more popular, Paul Quinn College. And so Paul Quinn is in Dallas, is becoming a whole vibe, and we went viral with our new gym. So the new gym that they just built. So at that time, no one knew Paul Quinn. And I came as the guy in the room from Paul Quinn College. And so this gave me an opportunity to learn about so many other HBCUs. We have over 100 HBCUs in the nation, to meet other graduates, alums from the HBCUs that we've not heard of, just to hear their stories, be in the room. And then for us to come together and work together. A lot of people know us as HBCU alums. We have a lot of competition, school to school, especially when it comes to sports and bands and things of that nature. But people don't get the opportunity to see us work together. So this was an opportunity to see the HBCU unity and camaraderie, for us to come together and work together. And it's not about recruiting a student from my school, although I would love for them to come to my school, but sometimes my school isn't fit for the students. So I'm able to refer them to other schools. When I have parents that call me, I'm able to connect them with alums from other schools where they've not been able to find alumni from those schools, or a person in administration. So that was like the greatest moment. It was a role that I would say I was being groomed for by our past president, and was always saying, you know, you're going to take over, you're going to lead, you're the next leader. And just going through that process and learning more about the city of Houston. I'm originally from Dallas, so it gave me an opportunity to learn more about the city, to meet other people in leadership here. And so that was my experience, just a great experience, just moving up and learning the city and learning more about other HBCUs.
Because I know that I know for a fact that there are some jokes going about, you know, between TSU, PV, Paul Quinn, and more so like Howard, JSU, and many more of that nature. And I know you all definitely have fun, but I want to dive more so into you all banding together, because you're right. We don't really see a lot of that. Or I remember growing up when 106 in Park, they had their segment where they would visit different schools and everything, but it wasn't all the schools coming together on their own. And so I want to talk about the things that you all offer, the importance that you all offer, not just going to an HBCU and the historic value in that, but the more so education and the financial gains that you all freely give to people because you all are a nonprofit organization.
We are. Yes. Well, one thing we distinguishes us from other HBCU groups. There are tons of HBCU groups out there. There are other groups where they've come together, alums from different cities, from different schools, excuse me, to form organizations. Our organization has programs, and that's what makes us different. And we consider ourselves the professional organization for HBCU alumnus. We're not only about parties. We do have a great time. When we have a great time, we're HBCU. And you've never had a great time until you get into a room filled with HBCU graduates. We can light it up anywhere, right? But we have a mentoring program that was in the Houston Independent School District's schools as well. But now we're in a charter school. We're working with a charter school. We actually created a summit for counselors that's coming up this summer. School counselors, bringing the school counselors together, teaching them about HBCUs, empowering them, also giving them necessary tools of how to communicate to their students the value of HBCUs, for them to understand why it's important to bring students, not just African American students, but students of all ethnicities to an HBCU college fair. And then sometimes the counselors would say they don't know how to connect with HBCUs. They don't know how to connect with the schools. So that's an opportunity for them to do that. We have our scholarship program. We actually created a forum that we do annually. It's an HBCU panel discussion and forum. We talk about HBCU history. We talk about everything from the civil rights movement to the social justice movement. We've had panelists that have been doctors, attorneys, politicians, social justice activists, and we bring all of those people together on a panel, and we have that conversation, we have that dialogue. Those are just some of the highlighted programs that we do have. We do have our mixers. We have a lot of fun. We do that once a month through a partnership with the Buffalo Soldier National Museum right here in Houston. And so we've been doing that now for 3 years. With COVID, we are hybrid, so some of our events are in person, and then some of them are virtual as well. So those are some of the things that we do, what we've created, and the sky is not the limit. We're all about social justice as well. During the whole George Floyd protests that were taking place, we were right there on the front lines. In the protests, we were out there, you know, walking the streets and screaming, no justice, no peace. And we were right there in that process. So that's what we've been able to do. And that's why we always say that we are the organization for the professional HBCUs, because we're alumnus. We're not just about the parties or the social gatherings. And I get on my soapbox about that because I feel like the world needs to see more from us as HBCU alums. We see that now with Kamala Harris and being in that position, the first HBCU alumnus to actually serve in that capacity in the White House. I have to admit that the last presidential administration, the Trump administration, brought a lot of notice and attention to HBCUs. And so HBCUs are like Tide and Clorox now. They are like, we are household names. And everybody is talking about HBCUs. Celebrities are going back to HBCUs. They're sending their children to HBCUs. Celebrities and notable people are retiring from Hollywood. They're going back and they're working, or retiring from the NFL, NBA. They're going back and they are working, really collecting a paycheck after making millions of dollars, collecting their paycheck at an HBCU. So this is the time for HBCU alums, and that's what we've done. Is we've actually, taken this moment to build programs. And the thing about our programs, Jay Renee, is our programs have been out there. They're not new. We didn't start these programs last week. These are things that we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years. And there are other programs. Someone had approached me about something doing with their organization. I was like, well, we did that for years, but we stopped doing it because of COVID. So we've been out working, but now is the time where, with the political climate we're in, the social climate that we're in, that our organization, Houston HBCU Alumni Association, is gaining a lot of attention right now.
And I love how you all incorporate the congresswomen and the congressmen to join. This isn't just a cause, this isn't just a movement, but it's reality for a lot of us. And I want you to discuss the importance of not just having your community behind you, but those who are in higher position to help you and who want to reach back to help.
Absolutely. There's a reciprocal in the relationship. You know, the elected officials need us just as much as we need them. And not even just the elected officials. Sometimes the staff persons have been are great friends for us. And building those relationships are key. We couldn't be successful without those relationships. It took certain, you know, Congress people that have had to move things for us, that have had to get us some favor, to help us with our mission. You need help along the way. And then we've been able to help those politicians as well, those elected officials. We've been able to help them. A couple of weeks ago, before the primary, we had a virtual candidate forum. And as you know, we have a lot of HBCU alumnus that were running for different positions in the primary for the Democratic and the Republican nomination. So we were able to bring many of those people together, those candidates together, and to give them that exposure. Also to let them know what we were doing. And quite a few of those individuals joined our cause because they wanted to be in on that movement. I don't think of us as an organization. I think of us as a movement. And it's a movement. We're mobilizing HBCU alums. So building those relationships have been very important. We have an amazing relationship with HEB. HEB served as the underwriter for 2 years for our college fair, which, you know, we did it for a few years on our own, and then HEB has now come in as a great partner with us, building that relationship with HEB. And it's not always about building the relationship with the big people that we know of, that we always see on TV and radio, hear them on radio, what have you. We have a lot of community partners that you may not have heard of. We have people that are doing great things in the city, and they support us in great ways.
I love, like, I know you're going to hear me say this a lot because I wish that this was around when I was growing up, because we had Upward Bound, and that helped me tremendously. I'm talking about from taking the necessary SATs to the ACT. They helped us out a lot, and they stressed so much the importance of doing that. And you know, not a lot of people knew really about Upward Bound or certain programs unless you really knew somebody that knew somebody. And I love, once again, how you all have that financial aid and the student conversations along with the scholarship applications. And then on top of that, you all have different giveaways for the students or to those looking to further their education, because now I think, and we talked about this prior to the start of the recording, but the kids these days have everything at their fingertips.
Absolutely.
Compared to what we had to do, you had to go here, you had to go there, you had to make sure you call this person, make sure you call that person back, because, you know, we didn't have different fairs and stuff. It was all about who you knew back then.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know, I'm a little bit older than you, and I don't remember college fairs in the 90s so much. When I was in high school, we had individuals that maybe came out to represent a school, And then we didn't always see a lot of HBCUs in the room outside of the big Texas HBCUs. We maybe have seen Southern come up from Baton Rouge, or Dillard, or Prairie View, or Texas Southern is usually who we would see. Grambling, of course, those schools, we would see them, but then there's so many others that we didn't know about. I mean, if Morehouse or Spelman walked in your school back then, I mean, that was just something huge when I was in high school. So you're speaking of our college fair that we have annually. And our college fair is very unique. It creates such a vibe of inspiration with the students, the whole vibe. And it's an overwhelming experience. Someone said to me that they were concerned about our attendance because of COVID. And when they pulled up to the hotel, there was nowhere to park, because we have school districts that bring students in on buses. At our college fair, the HISD superintendent of school was there, Mr. House was there, Millard House, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Congressman Al Green was there with us. Even the Army ROTC partnered with us and served as a sponsor, as well as some other local organizations. So we built this college fair. We brought schools in the room that you ordinarily would not see in a room. We've even had Meharry Medical College to show up for our college fair. Now, Meharry Medical College is a medical school. It's not, for undergraduate students, but they were there in the room with us. And that's what has made it so powerful. It's a powerful moment. And just to see the students, and it's not only African-American students. They're students from other ethnicities. People don't realize that HBCUs are serving, some of our schools are majority others than African-Americans, but they are HBCUs by designation by the federal government. They're still considered HBCUs. They will never lose that designation. So that's what you see in the room. The giveaways, we have sponsors that come in and sponsor the giveaways, the gift cards. We're giving out gift cards. Students are receiving gift cards. I actually walk through the room. We're on the mic, we're asking questions, and I'm pulling out gift cards out of my pocket from Chick-fil-A, from Sonic, Visa gift cards, V-Bucks, all of that. The V-Bucks, the Robux, and Fortnite stuff. All of that stuff, we have it available. Last year, we actually did gaming systems, the PS5 and Xbox. So we were able to do that for the students and have those giveaways. And they actually do receive them now. We just don't put it on the flyer. They actually receive what we give away. But we've created this environment, and it's so much inspiration. It's empowering to see it, to even see parents in the room. I understand from one of my team members that there was a family that came in from Minnesota. They were in town, and I believe they came over to the college fair. And I'm receiving different reports, even from the panel discussions, to see parents so appreciative. And that's what our organization is trying to do, and not trying, what we are doing is we're taking some of the mystery out of the process, and it makes it easier for the students and with the parents. The thing that I hate to hear a parent say to me is that, if my child doesn't receive more scholarships from this HBCU, then they'll be forced to attend this PWI. And that's okay if they choose to attend a PWI. I would prefer they go to an HBCU. But they shouldn't go because of the whole thing is about money. So there's finances that's available. There are scholarship foundations. We have those people in the room. We have representatives from the college there. One of my relatives was there actually to ask the school where their child will be attending next year, and was able to ask them, I need to know about scholarships. We got an acceptance, but my child has the grades, has the test scores. but nothing about scholarships. Well, the person was right there in the room to have that conversation. So through our college fair, we're able to take the mystery out of the process. We're able to simplify it. We make it less intimidating, and we're all very approachable. Of course, I'm always walking and throughout the room. Even when I was the vice president, and I'm shaking hands, I'm meeting students, I'm taking boomerangs and doing silly stuff and all of that with the students and the student groups, because I want them to know that HBCU alums are real. We're real people. We're in the community. We're everywhere in the community, and students need to know who we are. At our mentoring program, when we go to the schools to mentor, we wear our school shirts. We want the students to identify with our experiences. And the point I didn't make was talking about the college fair. For us, it was our relatives. We learned about HBCUs from relatives or from church members or teachers.
True.
That inspired us. That's what we learned about HBCUs. And if you were really a 90s kid or 80s kid like me, it was a different world. That's where you saw that whole, and I grew up wanting that. I wanted to have
Hillman College. Yeah.
I wanted that Hillman experience. I wanted Hillman, and all of that. And so I was very excited about it. I always knew I would attend an HBCU. My family created this legacy of HBCUs. My aunt is 90 years old. She graduated from Prairie View A&M University, and she tells
Congratulations.
Absolutely. She graduated from PV. She was hired to teach in the cotton field because she graduated. She didn't have a job, so she returned home to our family's hometown. The only thing she could do was go and work in the cotton field. So while she's out picking cotton, one of the teachers, I think, got married or something and didn't show up. And the principal said, go and get her and tell her we need a teacher. And that spanned into, I think, nearly 50 years in education, which started at Prairie View. She went to Prairie View, actually not to be a student. A relative of ours worked at Prairie View and asked for her to be sent there. She had gotten a job in the laundry room, as she decided she was going to go to school and get an education. And she did this. She had her 16th birthday at Prairie View in school. That's the legacy that I have. Everybody doesn't have that, so it's the teachers, it's the minister, it's the church members, it's somebody in the neighborhood. And now with the college fair, students don't have to hear those stories anymore. They can actually come in the room, and we're bringing everybody into one room one time. And we do this annually. It's always the first Saturday in March. So we're actually starting up planning for 2023. And we're getting geared up for that one. And it's going to be bigger and better each year.
And I love how you touched on the one question, the one alternate question I had, which was the common misconception about HBCUs. You do not have to be Black to go.
No. My godson said to me, and he chose to go to the Air Force, and I was trying to get him to go to an HBCU, and he says to me, he's like, Uncle, but I don't want to go to a school where you have to be Black to attend. I want to be in a diverse environment. And I told him most HBCUs are diverse. All HBCUs are very diverse these days. So it's not the way that it used to be, where you felt like it was all Black people at this school and white people at the school down the street. No, it's white people, Hispanics, Asians, everybody now taking the advantage of an education from an HBCU. People love it. People love the vibe. They love the energy. They love the spirit.
That whole experience.
It's in the family environment, that you experience at an HBCU. It's a family network that a lot of people have never seen or experienced before. You know, my son, when he was younger, he asked me, like, are these people really related to us? He had something, and I'm an only child. So he had all of these aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas. And it's like, who are these people? You know, this, I'm calling them cousins or whatever. And we're actually like HBCU, you know, family. And not all from Paul Quinn, you know, because we had conferences we attended. That was student leadership conferences. And, you know, we developed relationships there. We gained friends from other campuses, and we're still good friends today. We're all still connected, you know. So, and it all started at an HBCU. At an HBCU, you gain family for life, and people want that experience. And not only that, some of our instructors, I mean, are powerhouses. You know, you can meet notable people that you've read about, that you see in the newspaper, you see them commentating on CNN or acting on a movie or TV show, and then find out these people are teaching at an HBCU. And it's like you walk in the classroom and it's like you have that experience. Oh my God, so-and-so is my professor, or so-and-so is my instructor. And you build those relationships there, and those people become your mentors, and one day they become your colleagues for life.
Like, I would never forget, because, okay, full disclosure, I went to a PWI for undergrad because the one thing I wanted to do, marine biology, it unfortunately wasn't at the HBCUs I wanted to go to.
Sure.
So I went to A&M Corpus Christi, but I made it my mission to go to TSU, Texas Southern University, you know, to get my master's. And I remember when I met Dr. Teeth, I was like, I said, that name sounds so familiar. So something told me to go on Google. I did. I Googled this man. I was like, oh, nah.
Exactly.
Right. Because, and it's not like, once again, we're not throwing shade at anybody, but it's like it's not like they put it out on Front Street. You know,
right.
It's like, I'm here as your professor, as someone you can come talk to if you need help. Now, if you just know that about me, you just know that about me. Feel free to ask me questions about that me. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I love, because it's just, it's just something. It's just something about it. That whole cultural experience is not just Black people. You have Afro Latinos, you have people from the Caribbean, and yes, we are all Black, but it's the different cultures that we all share in unison that brings us together. Right.
And you mentioned TSU. I was joking and told someone the other day, I said, I'm just going to TSU to get a degree. I don't care what the degree is in. I just want to be a part of that family. You know, living in Houston, and you say Texas Southern, it's like, I just want to be a part of that family. I want to pull up the homecoming, like, and not be a visitor. I want to just know what it's like to be a maroon and gray tiger, you know.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I was so surprised. Well, actually, growing up, my mom graduated from Texas Southern. And so I remember one of the deans was like, you look so familiar. I was like, are you sure? I don't know you. But he was referring to my mom. Then it turns out they had classes together. I was like, wow, okay, all right. And so, like, it's just crazy. And even the AKA sorority on campus, sorority organization, she's a part of that. And every time, it's just like, it's like family. It is.
It's real family. Yeah. One of my professors at Paul Quinn was actually my cousin's professor when he was at Paul Quinn. And I was very, very small. Dr. Walton, he's gone to be with the Lord now, but he had been my great-grandmother's home, had eaten, you know, at the home, had attended church with us. And my cousin would take me sometimes to the campus. You know, when I would go to visit my great grandmother, and he would take me to the campus, and we'd sit in Dr. Walton's office. Well, I get to Paul Quinn, has moved from Waco to Dallas now, and Dr. Walton is there. And I introduced myself to him because he's like, you look familiar. And he hadn't seen me since I was a little boy. So I told him exactly who I was. And he was really excited. So as I was in his class, he realized I wasn't the same student that my cousin was. A brilliant student, a leader, very vocal, but I wasn't exactly the academician that my cousin was. So, you know, he mentioned to me, he was like, you have a very long way to go to match up with Anthony. So it was, and I said, well, Anthony is Anthony, and I'm Richard, and I'm not trying to be him, and he ain't trying to be me. So that's all we need to discuss. And we laughed about that, but it was really funny. He held me to this standard, and there were still some professors there that actually had taught my cousin, and they were comparing, and it was like, well, Anthony, and I'm like, I'm not Anthony, I'm Richard, okay? That was in 80 something, okay? This is 90 something. This is almost 2000. This is the late 90s. That was the early 80s. Let's understand it's not the same dynamic.
Well,
but you do. You meet that, and people, you know, you bring up a very true point. People know your family, your relatives. They've attended church, or they went to undergrad, or they attended graduate school. You find that very often in an HBCU.
Right, and like the Kappas over there at TSU, I was like, we were just talking one day, me and someone a part of the fraternity, and he said my cousin's name, who was over them. I said, what? I was like, are you serious? And this whole time I did not know. I mean, we've been family reunion after family reunion, and he said nothing. And then one day I said, you know what, hold up. I said, cousin, come here, cousin. Then I asked him, he said, yeah. I'm like, you didn't say anything. He said, I didn't think I had to say anything. Really? And it's really, I feel as though Hillman College provides that reality fantasy for us.
Yes.
Because low key, it really is like that at an HBCU. You just have to know how to guide yourself through all of that.
It is. You know, we dealt with real life situations. I was sharing that with students. I remember, you know, sisters would sometimes, you know, got pregnant while we were in school. And those were campus babies. They went home, they came back to school with the babies. We helped raise those children. You know, I had nieces and nephews, and now I see them on Facebook or Instagram. They're not on Facebook. I see them on Instagram. I got off Snapchat. I was like, that's enough for me. But anyway, I see them on Instagram. And I'm like, man, this is cool, because I held you as a little boy on my desk. Like, I sat you on my desk playing with you while your mom was trying to take her final exam, you know, and that's what we did. We took kids around. We had those experiences. If someone lost a parent, we attended the funeral. You know, we traveled, we went to funerals, and if you were in an HBCU choir, good God, I mean, we went and we sang. All of that, we had those experiences of family. If somebody needed something, we tried to help out the best way we could, and that's what I say. You get that type of sense. It's a sense of community that you gain from an HBCU, and that's what our organization has been able to do for alumni, is that we built a community. Most HBCU alums, graduates, don't have a sense of community after graduation unless it's with the Greek organizations, or if they are active in a local their local alumni chapter. Some people don't have chapters that they can even participate in. So our organization has been able to build this HBCU community right here in Houston, where HBCU alums can come and work. We're meeting people that are saying, I want to work, I want to do something. I want to do more than attend a gala or attend, homecoming. I want to be in the community. This gives them the opportunity to work with us and to be involved in the community, to volunteer. We took coats over to one of the elementary schools, and we joined in with the Grambling State University Houston Alumni Chapter, and our organization partnered in that. And so we took coats and we went in and we, fitted the little kids in the coats and all of that, helped them choose a coat. And that's just an experience. And I mean, and how cool is that to see all of these alums from an HBCU in a school giving back, providing something very necessary and needed to students that will change their lives and impact them. And that's what it's all about, in building this community that we've been very blessed to build.
And I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to not only share the experience, but to also interview the president of the HBCU Alumni Association, Mr. Bishop Richard Harper, and I hope I said that correctly, Mr.
It's Bishop Richard Harper, and the thing is Bishop is my title in the church. I am a minister. Bishop is not my first name. That is my title. I am a minister. I do pastor here in Houston. So my title at church is Bishop Harper, and our organization, our past president, Dr. Veronica Johnson Williamson, she now serves as in its executive director's capacity, but she's always, this is our president, this is Bishop. And so she was always Bishop, Bishop, Bishop. So someone told me they thought Bishop was actually my first name. And the reason why is because, Jay Renee, well, you've seen me, you've seen me out in public. So I'm not your average pastor, bishop type person. So, I'm always with the line dances and all of this and having fun and a good time. So a lot of people were like, well, we didn't think you were a bishop. We thought Bishop was just your name. So I was like, that's a long name, Bishop Richard Harper.
Okay.
But we did. I grew up in church. One of our church members, his first name was Bishop. I actually know 3 people whose first name was Bishop. So, and we called him Mr. Bishop. So that's what you made me think of. I was like, man, that sounds like the old man at church when I was growing up. I was like, he has been dead for a very long time. So, Mr. Bishop, but.
So we go okay, y'all. This is Mr. Richard Harper, president of Houston HBCU Alumni Association. Is there a way that people from around the area or even around the world can contact you all directly?
Yes, you could go to our website, HHBCUAA.org. That's it, HHBCUAA.org. You can find all of our information there. Connect with us on social media. We are on Facebook, Houston HBCU Alumni Association. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can find us on LinkedIn. We're on all of the major platforms. Just look for us. We're always the organization with a gold star. There are other Houston HBCU alumni groups, but they don't have a gold star. So when you see the gold star, then you know that you're in the right place.
And this is my very last question. Mm-hmm. What was your first HBCU experience? Because we're going to have people in the comments section. What HBCU did you all go to, and what was your first HBCU experience?
You want to ask me that, or is that for the comment?
That's for the comment section.
Okay. I was
Paul Quinn College. I know.
Oh, I was like, listen, we don't need to talk about that. I told you I was a pastor, so we don't need to be talking about my first experiences. I don't know. I have to say, in my mode, in my presidential stance, I don't want my members to be like, oh God, did he share that story? We all have fun on the yard. That's the thing about an HBCU.
Oh, that yard go down.
That yard, I'm telling you, it goes down on the yard. We had a lot of fun on the yard, so I had a great experience at Paul Quinn College.
Well, thank you so much for coming to talk with me on the Talk With Me podcast. And you all, please be sure to go to the HHBCUAA Associate AA website.com. Okay, guys, it's the Houston HBCU Alumni Association with the gold star.
With the gold
star. And I'll talk to you later, Bishop, because this is it. I love this conversation. You know, I
loved every minute of it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Same to you.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl Jay Renee. You know I've got something to say. Bringing you new episodes and new guests on your Talk With Me podcast exclusively on YouTube. Like, share, and of course subscribe. And follow us on IG too. All right, y'all. Bye.